Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair DeHawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Gavv Episode 8, the continuation of where we left off, where Shoma destroys the evil part-timer with a chocolate fever, and Tamaki has been rescued. So we see Shoma tearing apart the licorice red tape, and before anything else, as Tamaki was slowly transforming back into a human, Shoma, the king of sweets, junk food, and diabetes, did the smart thing and decides to, okay, as she's transforming back, I'm just gonna run away, hide, demorph, come out, and act dumb. And that's exactly what he did. So he runs back to and hides behind a wall. He demorphs. He comes out. He gave himself at least a moment, and then he came out and be like, "Oh, Tamaki, what are you doing here in this empty parking lot? Are you supposed to be in Paris by now?" And Tamaki was like, yeah. The last thing I remember was I was supposed to, go to the airport with this guy who claims that he loves my art, and that's it. That's all I can remember. And and that's it from that scene. And then we get to the next scene, this epic fighting scene between Hanto, the chocolate man, versus Glotta, who reminds me a whole lot of Weird Sister number 3 and her fighting style. And my God, I really enjoy this fight scene between him and Glotta. And you can tell, and this scene is all about setting up where they're at power-wise. And obviously, she is the toughest SOB so far. I really want to see Weird Sister number 3 and Glotta. I really do. But Glotta gives him, a knuckle sandwich and ends up whipping, Hanto's chocolate ass. and that's it. And Hanto's like, oh man, who the hell is she? I got my ass kicked. Yeah, if that's the actress, or regardless if it's the actress or the stunt double who does the fighting thing as Glotta, kudos to you. Kudos to you. We need more characters like that. So after the chocolate ass whooping, we go to Shoma, who returns Tamaki back to Auntie's house and gets greeted by, of course, Auntie and a yellow-covered Sachika. And everyone's like, what the hell happened to you? And Sachika was like, no, never mind. I just had an accident. But you can tell from Shoma's face, it's like, something ain't right here. Anyways, Shoma tells everybody that apparently, Tamaki was attacked by a monster. And then Tamaki took the reins and told her side of the story of what she could remember. And all the while, Egawa is listening in with a sad, angry face. After that, we get to Shoma again, back to, the happy building. Shoma notices something about Sachika and decides to confront her about it. But obviously, Sachika was like, trying to avoid answering that question and says, don't worry about it. Everything is fine. And take care of the building, of course, and lock up if you decide to leave, that sort of thing. And good work today. And you can tell, like, there was a nice shot of Sachika's face, and you can tell that she's trying to smile, but you can tell that she wants to cry. And Shoma picked up on it, like, oh, and poor Shoma, he's just like, I really wanted to help you and all that. You can tell that he wants to help her out, but she can't because she's not letting him in. At least right now. For right now. Now we move on to Dr. Nick. So Hanto, after his chocolate ass whooping, Hanto goes to see Professor Nick and tells him about his discovery about Ganyuts and their ability to shapeshift into humans. And it's something that Dr. Nick already knew. And Hanto went by saying, wait a minute, you knew about this and you didn't tell me this from the very beginning? What the hell? And Dr. Nick adds, like, look, yes, they can disguise themselves as any human that they want, but they cannot, hide their mouths on their stomachs. So the only way to expose a Ganyut is to see if their stomachs have a mouth in it. And then we have this weird thing happening where Hanto decides to go check on Dr. Nick's stomach in case that he is an actual human or a Ganyut. And out of disappointment, he's like, "Aw," because Dr. Nick is a human. And Dr. Nick was like, why with this disappointment thing? What's going on? You wanted me to be a Ganyut so you can kill me or something? Wow. But I have an interesting question to ask you guys then. If Shuga was indeed a Ganyut, what would Hanto do? Would he try to kill him or get information out of him before killing him? Or what's your theories on that if Shuga was indeed a Ganyut? That would be because Hanto will be put in an awkward situation because he knows without Shuga, he cannot get any of the upgrades of being a Kamen Rider. How is he going to get his second form? How is he going to get a new form in weapons and that sort of thing? Forms and weapons. How is he going to do it? What? He's going to go visit Uncle Dente that he doesn't know and he's an actual Ganyu? What then? And right now, there's no Ganyu researchers out there besides him, at least for now. And obviously, there's going to be a third rider coming out, so we still don't know if that third rider is going to be a half Ganyu, just like just like Shoma, a human, just like Hanto with the surgery, or another strong possibility could be for the third rider is a full-blown Ganyut. Could a third rider be a full-blown Ganyut? And to me, it makes sense because you have a half human, half Ganyut. You have a human with Ganyu powers thanks to a surgery that's performed in someone's office, aka Dr. Nick. And then you have a Kamen Rider who is a full-blown Ganyut. That's an excellent combination when you think about it. And again, let's go back to the theory of the possibility of Hanto and Shoma being half siblings. Would he accept Shoma as family? Would Hanto accept the third rider, being a Ganyut if it happens? Of course, Hanto doesn't like the idea of working with a Ganyut after the Ganyuts pretty much took everything from him. But he doesn't have much of a choice if it comes to that. But I'm getting ahead of myself here, guys. But excellent theories about the third rider, a full-blown Ganyut. Anyways, so after the disappointment discovery of Dr. Nick being a human, we move to the stomach family meeting. This scene cracked me out a lot because the twins, for the longest time, has tried to keep this under wraps because they thought that maybe if we dealt with the problem, then our family members wouldn't realize what's going on until today. Because thanks to Gota's encounter with Hanto, she went to her older brother Lango and told him what's going down and what she knew. Hence the family meeting. And Lango, confronts the twins like, I received word that you withheld information from me. And according to your sister, right? And this is where the twins really let the cat out of the bag. Because, remember, the twins only know that their half-brother is the Red Gavv Kamen Rider, right? But they don't know anything about Valen, at least not yet. But this is where, they open their mouths assuming that, their half-brother faced their older sister, but that's not the case at all. Because as they spilled the beans, the Glotta was like, no, I didn't face, the Red Gavv. I faced another guy. And the twins was like, oh, crap. Now they're in trouble. And Nabe just sitting there and notices like, ooh, you're really gonna... oh, you really gonna get it now. So Lango calmly was like, oh, okay, I see how this is. Okay. For withdrawing information, for, letting our little half-brother disrupt our supply lines, and, we have another Kamen Rider to deal with, you are fired. I'm going to have my agents take over your spots, and that's it. Also, Nave, you will be you'll be performing surgeries on our coworkers now that we all know the threat. So you do that, put it on the budget, and that's it. He leaves. And the twins are in shock and disbelief that they got fired. And Glotta had the nerve to just be like, hey, you may have lost a job, but you will always be my precious little brother and sister. Mwah. And the look on the twins' faces was priceless. Yeah, so the twins are out of a job, and now Lango knows that their half-brother and another person, a human, mind you, is pretty much disrupting their family business. So, yeah. So after the You're Fired segment, Shoma is on assignment because Sachika tells Shoma, hey, go and clean up the studio, but please take care of it. And Shoma was surprised, like, me on my own? Like, yeah, I think you're ready, but please, just please do not use force. I beg of you, please. So Shoma, all happy and giddy, just leaves and about to go to the studio until he hears a doorbell. And he notices that it was Hanto. So he went outside to meet him. And Shoma assumes that, hey, are you here to investigate the Kamen Rider? And Hanto's like, no, it's something else, okay? It's something else. I'm looking for someone because he is investigating the missing artist by the name of Akita Shingo, and it points him to this house. And wants to talk to Tamaki because I think he still has her passport. But of course, Shoma was like, look, the problem has been dealt with. He doesn't need to get involved anymore. So I need to push him away. So Shoma lies to him saying that Tamaki is sick. She can't see you right now. But I will let her know that you are here to talk to her later and blah, 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 and just takes the passport and quickly and awkwardly just goes away. And Hanto was about to leave until he himself realized that, hey, I cannot leave. And he decides to stay for a couple of hours until he saw Shoma and Sachika leave the house. So as they leave, Hanto was about to go back to the gate until he sees a strange man who claims to be an art dealer, and that's it. And then we move back to Shoma, where he finally knows how to crack an egg. And this is a scene where Sachika gets greeted by her auntie, and her auntie tells her niece, I just received word from Egawa that he was the one who splashed yellow paint on you, and he apologized, that sort of thing, but I need to know from your side what the hell happened. Why did he splash you with yellow paint? And this is where we get a little bit more of Sachika's character, that she is a caring woman. She wants to help everybody who has problems, making them smile, because that's the type of person she is. And she wanted to help Egawa because he had a mental breakdown because of Tamaki, getting noticed and going to Paris. And he's just like, well, I'm making great art too, so when is my flowers, you can say. And we get to know that, look, I try to help him, but he splashed yellow paint on me because, mind your own damn business. Like, how do you know? Like, how do you empathize with me? You're not an artist, so what? And so on and so forth. And she explains that she's been that way since she was a little girl. She tries to help people in need and just finds a way to help them in some way, but she always get this whole, like, how do you know? Like, stay the hell away from me. You don't know nothing, and blah, 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 blah. It makes her sad. But this is where Auntie and Shoma was telling her, okay, so what? So you don't empathize with them. That's fine. The thing that you did right is to try to help, to try to listen. And that's something that they both admire about her. You willing to stop everything to see this person and talk and just try, and try to reach out and make them feel happy and whatnot. So don't feel sad that you don't empathize or connect with them. Try your best to help them. And Shoma's like, because of you, I have this yummy journal, and Auntie's like, that's the thing I admire about you, because you always try to help and don't worry about it too much. It's okay. And Sachika's like, thank you, and she's about to cry, and Shoma's like begging her not to cry. So we get to the next day. Sachika and Shoma returns to the auntie house, and they spot Hanto just lurking around the house, and then all three of them hide because these shady artist deal returns, and we overhear that he wants to see Egawa's studio. And mind you, during this entire episode, we don't see Tamaki anywhere. Like, she disappeared out of nowhere. Because you could have, she came back. There was no word of her returning home or anything like that, because her temporary home right now is living with Sachika's auntie. But she's nowhere to be found, which is weird. Anyways, that's something that I noticed. So the three of them hide, and the shady artist wants to see Egawa's studio. And then this is where we go inside the house. Hanto, Shoma, and Sachika are in the kitchen. And this is where both boys decided to get her involved in telling her that this shady man could be a monster. And Sachika's like, what? And this is where they are trying to devise a plan of how to expose this man. Either he's a human or a Ganyu. And I think either Hanto was like, we need to lift off his shirt in order to see if there's a mouth in the stomach. But Sachika made a great point. Like, what happens if this guy is an actual human? You can get sued you could get bad mouth sued that you could be a pervert, that sort of thing. You will get a ton of problems if this plan backfires. So Shoma did the next best thing and decides to, hey, I will go serve this guy some tea and I will spill on him. And in the midst of chaos, I will try to lift off his shirt to see if there's a mouth. And that's it. That's exactly what happened. So in the next scene, you see the shady art dealer looking at Egawa's art piece, and the auntie was there, and Shoma was like approaching the art dealer with a cup of tea, and he just intentionally spills the tea on him, and then tries to lift the shirt up, and lo and behold, there's a mouth, and everybody was all scared and like, ah! And the shady art dealer's like, oh crap, oh well, and he transforms. So Hanto and Shoma chase after the monster, and they transform. And once again, they both have an awkward encounter. Because you see Shoma transform into Gavv, but he just, falls to the right, and Hanto looks at Shoma, and it's so weird because you see Shoma's, helmet just like on almost close to the ground, and be like, huh? What the hell? And Shoma, of course, acting cool, be like, oh, hello. Oh, and I faced this monster before last week, so be careful and good luck, I guess. So as the two boys are fighting against this monster from last week, Egawa has a mental breakdown. You see him just like, why can't it be me? Like, I worked so hard to be at this point where someone can recognize me for my work, but still nothing. And he is having a mental breakdown. He was like trying to destroy everything, and he was about to destroy his art piece until Sachika stops him and be like, hey, don't take it on your art pieces. It's not you. It's that creep monster that did this to you, okay? And I kind of relate to Egawa because I myself, guys, I'm trying to be a voice actor. And as you know, a voice actor is very hard because no matter how many auditions I tend to do, chances are there's always going to be no. Like, you get, like, I only had one gig and that's it. That's the life of a voice actor, is to just audition until you get a gig. It's the way it is. And sometimes I feel like, sometimes I question myself of, what is this? Like, I'm doing all the right things, and yet I don't get recognized. Same thing with Egawa. I'm sure he does a lot of the right steps. He practices. He does art almost every single day, hoping and praying that he will get recognized, but he doesn't. And he notices Tamaki getting noticed, even though she kind of got nearly eaten, turned into a dark treat. He got jealous of her and just getting frustrated with himself, like, okay, when is my day come? When is it? But Sachika was telling him, no, don't do it. And after this mini talk between her and Egawa, she just randomly picks up a bucket of yellow paint and just leaves. She just leaves. We go to the fight between Evil Ganyu versus Hanto and Shoma. And Shoma transforms into Choco-dan, and it became, a duel of chocolate people, of chocolate men, and destroys the monster, right? But then, all of a sudden, the same Ganyu returns and taunts, the Kamen Riders, the chocolate Kamen Riders, that, hey, you can't kill me because I'm an immortal. And Shoma's like, there's no such thing as an immortal Ganyu. There's something more to this than just that. And Shoma once again destroys the monster. Yet another one takes his place. But this time, this monster tries to pull a sneak attack on the chocolate Kamen Riders until somehow, some way, Sachika shows up in this warehouse. And how did she discover the warehouse? I have no idea. Maybe because of the chocolate bullets and the kicking and screaming. Sachika just takes the bucket of yellow paint and just dumps it on the monster and telling it off, like, how dare you pull the rug underneath Egawa, just ruining. It's just like giving him hope, like giving him false hope of, and all that stuff. And this monster was like, oh, how dare you throw me yellow paint, and was about to attack her. But of course, the boys stopped him from doing that and destroys it. But then another one takes its place. But Sachika was like, wait a minute. I just throw you yellow paint and you came out of it good as new. And this is where Shoma discovers, like, hey, wait a minute. She just threw yellow paint, and yet he comes back as if there's no paint at all. Something's not right here. So he let Hanto do all the shooting while Shoma is trying to figure out what the hell is going on until he made a discovery. So as Hanto was destroying monsters left and right, Shoma discovers the truth that the monster was not immortal at all. He was just making copies out of himself. So now that the cat is out of the bag, it became, a 2-on-1 choco fight, a choco shootout. And after a choco finish later, the monster is officially destroyed. It's killed. And this funny thing happens because after the monster gets destroyed for the final time, Sachika just comes in and be like, oh my god, you guys are the Kamen Riders. Let me take a selfie of you guys. And awkwardly, the two riders were like doing poses and whatnot. And, Sachika was taking pictures and they both like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And they both try to, sneak out and just slowly walk away from Sachika, but she turns around and looks at them like, hey, wait a minute, I want to talk to you guys. And they both run from Sachika, like, no, run away. I find it to be funny. They can destroy Ganyuts, but when it comes to Sachika and her phone, be like, no, I'm not gonna face that. No. Let's run. So we get into the final scenes. The group say the goodbyes to Egawa and Auntie. And again, Tamaki is nowhere to be found. She disappeared. And Egawa gives Sachika, a present as a thank you and also an apology for what he did. And on the way home, it turns out that this gift was a painting of a flower, and Sachika wonders, like, okay, so where were you guys? Because you were chasing this monster, and I came, soon after with a bucket full of paint, and I never saw you guys. Like, what's going on? Because you missed your chance of meeting the Kamen Riders. And of course, the boys is like trying to make up something like, oh, I just missed the trail. That's what happened. Yeah, let's stick to that. I mean, I was following him, and then he pulled a fast one on me, and I lost him. I lost him all the way. And Shoma said the same thing. Yeah, I lost him too. Yeah. And so Sachika's like, oh, that's too bad because you could have met the Kamen Riders and whatnot. And I took a selfie too with them, and they were such fun. Only they escaped from me, but don't worry. I will get them again. And so they lied. And Hanto was like, he went to ask Sachika, is it all right with you that let us stop investigating the Kamen Rider. I don't want to do it anymore. And Shoma's like, yeah. I agree with Hanto. Like, let's give up on that. You couldn't investigate the monsters, but the Kamen Riders, nah. Let's leave that. Let's leave that alone. And we get this cutscene between the eventual half brothers being like, oh, I don't know. I mean, Sachika can be very unpredictable. I don't know if she will take no for an answer. And poor Sachika was like, are you sure? I mean, like, I'm interested now. I'm interested in this Kamen Rider stuff. But, you know, like, the boys were right. I mean, Sachika can be very unpredictable. And Sachika's like, what? What did you say? And the boy's like, no, nothing. You haven't heard anything from me. Let's go. And like, so she goes like, come on, I heard something. Tell me. No, I'm not saying anything. No, I'm closing my mouth. as they walk into the sunset back home. And that's the end of the episode, guys. Another great episode. I enjoyed it, especially the fight between Hanto and Glotta. It just goes to show how powerful she is as a fighter, and she's going to be very difficult to defeat. That's why he needs to upgrade his game, or else he's going to get his chocolate ass whooped again. And we get to learn more about Sachika, and she is a character that I wish we had in the real world. But I think there are people out there. It's just a rarity. And because we need a lot of Sachikas in this world, we truly do, but, you know. But hopefully with her character, I hope she becomes a Kamen Rider. I like to see her get involved in fighting Guy Newts, but knowing her, I bet she wants to help, you know, behind the scenes, but it would be nice to see her as a writer. I truly see her being a writer. So the twins got fired, and unfortunately, Dr. Nick is not a Ganute. And we get to see, you know, two Kamen Riders in their chocolate form having a shootout in a warehouse. And, I mean, it's a great episode because, to me, this episode is kind of relatable to me because I can relate to Egawa in a way that, yes, you know, I'm a voice actor who is trying to break into the business, but it's so hard and you want to give up, and you see close colleagues that they're, you know, getting, you know, recognized and getting booked, and you wonder, when is my time coming? I can really relate to that. And I wish I have a Sachika right now for me and really tell me, like, don't give up, and you know, you can do it, you know, your dreams will come true, and that sort of thing. So yeah, I really wish there was, you know, some Sachikas in the real world. Anyways, yeah, so this episode is another great episode, and yeah, give me your thoughts and opinions about episode 8. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? If you dislike it, what would you change? Also, did you notice that Tamaki disappeared out of nowhere? I did. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And also, you know, give me your thoughts and opinions about the theories that I presented to you guys. Do you think that Hanto and Shoma are going to be half siblings? Do you like the idea? And also, what would happen if Hanto discovered that Shoga was indeed a Ganyu? What would he do? Would he kill him or do something else? I want to get your theories on that. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!